I kind of want to transition into, you talked about how before any of that, like make sure your foundational nutritional needs are met. And as somebody who is in the fitness space a lot myself, and I know you coaching a lot of clients who are health and fitness focused, we experience a lot of women who are constantly underfueling and not eating adequate amounts of their macronutrients. And so I kind of want to just like start generally. How do you it's impossible to put a general number out there for like how many calories somebody should eat, because there's a lot of different things with regards to height, weight, activity level, etc., with regards to determining how many calories you should eat or how many carbs, proteins, and fats somebody should eat. But if somebody is listening to this and they have like maybe no idea how many calories they should be eating, maybe they've heard that they should go on a diet and eat 1,200 calories or whatever it is, what is a good way for people to know, especially women, how many calories and approximately their macronutrients that they should be intaking?
It's a great question. And a couple things that might be helpful. So one, I will say 1,200 calories is enough for like a 6-year-old. So
Yeah.
if any woman out there is trying to limit their intake, any adult grown ass woman is limiting their intake to 1,200 calories a day, you are under eating. I don't know anything about you, but I will tell you, you are likely under eating. And we see so much underfueling, under eating in practice with women. And it's, not only often preventing them from seeing goals, achieving goals with things like shifts with body composition, it's also directly negatively impacting their hormones, their thyroid function, sex hormone production, our stress hormones. So making sure that you are eating enough and fueling well every single day is so foundational. We can't bypass that. It's kind of a don't pass go situation in my mind. In terms of how to get a sense of how much your body might need, I might recommend pulling up like a TDEE calculator. So your total daily energy expenditure, TDEE calculator, input, your basic info, your level of activity, and that might give you a little bit of a benchmark of like, what am I aiming for? I guarantee you most women that do that are going to be a little surprised by how much, their body actually needs to function optimally. I always tell women, we're not trying to eat enough to survive. We're trying to eat enough to actually thrive, right? And to feel amazing physically, to feel amazing mentally. So I think the TDEE calculator is a great starting point. Obviously, all of these tools are imperfect, but I think that's a great way to get a benchmark for how much we should be bringing in, based off kind of, some of your specific info. I would say in general, for some guidelines to give women, and again, you may be someone that needs way more than this, but as a starting point, I like to get most women to eating about 100 grams of protein or more per day. Again, some women might need much more than that, but I think aiming for 100 grams of protein is a good starting point, and most women we work with are not anywhere near that. So, that might mean trying to get about 30 grams of protein at meals and some additional protein at, a snack or two daily. When it comes to carbohydrate intake, I would say this is probably one of the more variable macronutrients in terms of an individual's needs. But one thing I will highlight is that in general, it's contraindicated for women of reproductive age to eat less than 150 grams of carbohydrates daily, in terms of actually maintaining hormonal and reproductive health. Are there situations where a lower carb, approach could be helpful, therapeutic in the right context? Sure. Yes. Of course, there's always going to be, context to consider. But if you're a woman of reproductive age and, you're just kind of doing day-to-day life and you're not even doing any, kind of intense workouts, or, you don't even have a regular workout routine at this point, I would make sure you're eating at least 150 grams carbs daily, and ideally focusing on carb quality there. When it comes to fats, I would say, again, thinking about, hormones, women's health, we may need much more than this, but as a benchmark, I do like to see clients getting above about like 60, 65 grams of fat daily, again, to make sure that we actually have the raw materials to produce our hormones.